I'm not teaching fundamentals anymore. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've been not very active the last month or almost the last year since I was pretty busy and didn't really find the time to make any new videos, but I've got a new studio as you can see and I hope you like it. Today I've got something so important for all GUE divers that I just had to make a new video about it. The reason is the new GUE standards are out and there is no GUE fundamentals course anymore. At least not like the old fundamentals, but quite many things are going to change and one of them is the fundamentals. This isn't just a minor update, it's a complete overhaul in many ways and it's going to affect all of us in the GUE community, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro. So the fundamentals is changing fundamentally anyway. Grab a cup of the beverage of your choice, settle in, and let's dive deep into these changes together. We'll go through them, at least the most important ones, and I'll share my thoughts and insights along the way. First up, let's talk about the new courses and the changes in the recreational curriculum. In the old standards, we had courses like Discover Scuba or Recreational Supervised Diver, and then the main courses, Rec 1, Rec 2, and Rec 3. For many of us, especially instructors like me, these courses became the cornerstone of GUE recreational training, and in fact, they offered the most comprehensive training for divers at different levels. Now, the courses themselves, the actual content and skills taught haven't changed much, which is great news. Rec 1, for example, is still, in my opinion, the best course for beginners out there, but the big change is the naming conventions. Discover Diving remains Discover Diving because it's just about discovering diving, which makes sense. Recreational Supervised Diver is now called Scuba Diver. This change is a bit puzzling to me. I mean, after any certification, you're technically a scuba diver, right? So renaming this course to Scuba Diver doesn't seem to add much clarity, but perhaps GUE has their reason. Now, here's the one that really gets me. Rec 1 is now called Open Water Diver. Personally, I don't love this change. Rec 1 has always been a flagship course for GUE, offering unparalleled training for beginners, and I personally really tried to reinforce the name in the industry. I like that we had no Open Water Diver course, but could make clear that we offer something very different. By renaming it to Open Water Diver, we risk lumping it in with the myriad of basic open water courses offered by other agencies, some of which, frankly, are not up to the same standard. It might make it harder to communicate the value of the course and the quality of GUE's training to potential new students. I know there might be reasons to align with the industry's naming, but still I don't like it. Rec 2 is now Advanced Open Water Diver, which makes sense in terms of progression, but still the same applies here. We made clear in the past that Rec 2 is something different, and I fear this understanding might get lost in the ocean of poor advanced on water diver courses. Rec 3 has been renamed Master Diver, and quite frankly, I don't like this either. While Rec 3 is indeed an advanced course and demands a high level of skill and knowledge, I'm not entirely comfortable calling someone a master after completing it. But still, I suspect GUE wants to align more closely with industry terminology. Perhaps this will make it easier for divers from other agencies to understand where they fit into the GUE system, and I think this was the original idea for the name changes. So please leave me a comment and let me know what you think about the new names for the recreational classes. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Really, hit the bell. Smash it. Smash it! You will miss new videos otherwise. Another significant update is that the use of triacs is no longer required in the Rec 2, now Advanced Open Water Diver course. Given the current helium prices, which have skyrocketed, this makes absolutely sense. Triacs, helium-enriched air mix, was not always practical or accessible for many divers. By removing this requirement, the courses become more accessible and cost-effective without compromising safety or learning outcomes. Similarly, the old Triox primer has been renamed the Deep Primer. It still teaches diving up to 30 meters, but no longer requires the use of Triox. This change makes absolute sense, as the focus is on deep diving techniques and always was, rather than the specific gas mix used. Now, let's move on the second major change: the restructuring of the fundamentals course. In the past, if you were a certified diver, you could sign up for a GUE fundamentals course and, depending on your performance, earn a recreational or technical certification. It was a one-size-fits-all approach that worked well when the diving community was smaller and more homogeneous, when rather very experienced divers signed up for the class. In the last years, more and more very inexperienced divers hit the fundamentals classes, and it became a challenge to deliver the right course on the right level to every participant. I had people with thousands of technical dives being in the same class like people with barely 10 recreational dives. While it can be a benefit to have a heterogeneous group of students, most of the time it's hard to make everyone really happy. I think GUE recognized this too, and hence the old fundamentals course is of the past. But now the fundamentals course has been split into 3 distinct courses: the performance diver, the basic fundamentals, and the technical fundamentals. The performance diver is part of the recreational curriculum. The so-called foundational curriculum that contained the primers and the fundamentals before now ceased, and we only have the recreational curriculum that contains the recreational classes and the performance diver class. This course is essentially the first 2 days of the old fundamentals course and is designed for certified but less experienced divers who want to improve their overall stability in the water and learn basic skills like the S-drill. It's a great way to bridge the gap between basic certification and more advanced training, and just improve without spending 4 consecutive days. Then we have basic fundamentals and technical fundamentals, both now part of the technical curriculum. The basic fundamentals course is akin to the old fundamentals course with a recreational focus, while the technical fundamentals is geared toward those aiming for technical or cave diving certifications. So the basic fundamentals is basically the old fundamentals without the skills that were only necessary for the technical certification, like the unconscious diver rescue, while the technical fundamentals covers everything like the old fundamentals for people who aim for a tech pass. At first glance, this might seem odd. After all, rescue skills are crucial for all divers. But in practice, I found that recreational level students often lack the stability and control to perform rescue exercises effectively. In a 4-day course, time is very limited, and it's often more beneficial to focus on core skills like buoyancy control and propulsion techniques rather than an oddly performed rescue exercise. By moving the rescue training to the technical fundamentals course, we ensure that students have the foundational skills necessary to perform rescues effectively. It allows us to dedicate the appropriate amount of time to this critical skill without rushing or compromising on quality. I think this new structure is smart because it allows for more homogeneous classes. Now we separate courses, we can tailor the training more effectively. If you are inexperienced and want to be a bit more confident in the water, you can sign up for a weekend performance diver class. If you're a recreational diver aiming higher, you'd sign up for basic fundamentals. And if you're an experienced technical diver looking to refine your skills, or wanting to go for a CCR class or cave or tech class, very soon you would go for a technical fundamentals. This ensures that each student gets the most out of their training and is challenged appropriately. Given the set of different divers we have today, this change was due, and I'm really happy GUE now took the step and realized that. But again, let me know what you think about that in the comments. Another important update is regarding the primers, specifically the doubles and dry suit primers. These are now prerequisites if you want to use doubles or a dry suit during a course and don't have at least 15 dives of experience with that equipment. This is a good move because it ensures that students are familiar with their gear before jumping into more advanced training. In the past, students without any experience in doubles or dry suit could take a class using that equipment, which sometimes led to challenges. While I've personally taught students using doubles or dry suit for the first time without significant issues, formal training in these configurations can only enhance safety and learning outcomes. Now let's talk about instructor qualifications, which is another significant change in the new standards. Now, GUE recreational instructors are qualified to teach the recreational courses and the performance diver course, but not the basic or technical fundamentals course. These fundamentals courses are now part of the technical curriculum, and to teach them, an instructor must have experience in technical diving, project diving, and generally more advanced forms of diving. This change ensures that students in the technical fundamentals course are learning from instructors who have substantial experience in these areas they're teaching. It's beneficial for newer, less experienced instructors as well, as they can gain teaching experience with the lower level courses before progressing to more advanced instruction. For students, this means that when you sign up for a technical fundamentals course, you can be confident that your instructor has the depth of experience necessary to provide high-quality training on the level you're aiming at. Another noteworthy change is the merging of the technical and cave curricula. This makes sense as there's significant overlap in the skills and knowledge required for both disciplines. Still, it won't change the courses in practice. However, the most impactful change here is that completion of a rescue primer or a rescue class from another recognized agency is now mandatory for all higher level courses. In the past, there was a loophole where someone could, in theory, start with a Reg 1 class and progress all the way through Fundamentals Tech to like CCR2 or Cave 2 without any formal rescue training. Given that more divers are starting their training with the GUE and may do all their certifications with GUE, closing this loophole is a significant improvement. I appreciate this change because rescue skills are critical, especially as you advance into technical and cave diving where the risks are higher. Ensuring that all divers have adequate rescue training enhances safety for everyone. Moving on to the technical courses, there are some significant updates as well. The Tech 2 Plus and CCR 2 Plus upgrades have been removed. Instead, the new Level 3 Tech and Cave programs are included in the new standards. These are exciting additions that I'll cover in more detail in a future video, so stay tuned for that. Perhaps one of the most practical changes is the removal of the 25 dive requirement after Tech 1 before enrolling in CCR 1. Given the current helium prices, which are quite high, this makes sense. Previously, divers would sometimes conduct unnecessary Tech 1 dives to fulfill the requirement, often doing just shallow 30-meter dives with unnecessary decompression just to tick the box. By removing this requirement, GUE acknowledges the financial and practical realities divers face today. Of course, Tech 1 is still a prerequisite for CCR 1, ensuring that divers have the necessary foundational skills before moving on to rebreather training. Speaking of rebreathers, the minimum age for CCR and PSCR courses has been lowered from 21 to 18 years old. This is great news for younger divers eager to advance their training. I don't think there's any medical or scientific reason to restrict rebreather training to those over 21, and this change opens up opportunities for enthusiastic young divers. Realistically, most 18-year-olds may not have the resources to purchase a rebreather anyway, but for those who do, this is a welcome update. Overall, though, I think the changes in the standards make a lot of sense. Splitting up the old fundamentals course addresses the reality that GUE now has a much more heterogeneous student base than when the fundamentals course was first introduced. Back then, it was designed as a starting point for already very experienced divers. Today, divers come to GUE with a wide range of experience levels. These changes allow us to deliver the right course to each student level, maintaining or even increasing the quality of the basic or technical fundamentals course. It ensures that students aren't overwhelmed or under-challenged and that they receive training that is appropriate for their current skills and goals. So how can we wrap up the changes now? First, we had the new names for the recreational courses, which is something I'm still grappling with. As I mentioned earlier, I've worked hard over the years to promote the names Rec 1, 2, and 3, and these names were unique to GUE and helped set our courses apart from the standard offerings in the industry. Switching to names like On-Water Diver, Advanced On-Water Diver, and Master Diver might make it harder to communicate the distinctiveness of GUE's training. Potential students might assume that our On-Water Diver course is equivalent to any other, which isn't quite frankly the case. GUE courses are far more comprehensive, with a strong emphasis on skill mastery, safety, and environmental awareness. I understand that GUE might be aiming to make our courses more accessible or easier to understand for newcomers, but my gut feeling is that we might lose some of our unique identity in the process. Time will tell how this plays out, and perhaps marketing these courses will become easier in the future. I don't know. Requiring formal rescue training before advancing to higher level courses enhances safety and ensures that all divers have the necessary skills to assist themselves and others in emergency situations. The adjustments to the doubles and dry suit requirements make sense as well. While I've had students use doubles or dry suit for the first time in a class without issues, formal training ensures that they are comfortable and proficient with their equipment, which can only enhance the learning experience. Removing the TROIX requirement from the deep primer and focusing on diving techniques up to 30 meters without mandating a specific gas mix is practical and makes the course more accessible. By the time this video is released, there might be some minor adjustments, as I was working from a preliminary draft of version 10 of the standards, and there are more changes in the standards that I haven't covered here, and hence I highly recommend downloading the publicly available copy of the new standards and reading through them yourself. It's important to stay informed about these changes, especially if you're planning to take any courses or are currently progressing through the GUE system. Overall, I think most of the changes make absolutely sense and will help to maintain GUE's quality of training. So generally, I'm very happy with the new standards, and GUE made a really good job here. So what do you think about the new standards? Do they make sense and pave the way for GUE's future, or did you prefer version 9 of the standards? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please share them in the comments below. After a bit of a break without posting, I'm excited to bring you more content in the coming weeks, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss any new great videos like these.